Shannon mentioned she might be running late and will be on WebEx, so keep my eyes peeled for her.
And, Carly is, unavailable this evening.
Right, yes. Mhm. But Mary said she should be here tonight.
Oh, lovely.
So we'll have a quorum. Do we need four? One of us? Okay.
I noticed at the last city council member, there was someone appointed to a committee. Do we know? But I missed that meeting for some reason. Because I'm not used to them being on Tuesday night. Do we know who got appointed?
I don't know.
Was it someone to us?
No, they haven't even put out the applications yet.
Okay,
That's going out this month, so,
okay.
it should be probably by January would be my guess, this one. They might be getting that on their agenda.
Well, I'm debating whether I'm gonna re-up, so that's on the table as well.
Sure.
Are you still losing?
I have no idea what that is.
Unclear, huh?
Just check.
For all I know, we'll go into 18 innings. I have no idea. It's funny that, murderers in the building, or whatever the hell that is
Yeah,
called,
yeah.
got renewed for a new season, and guess where they're shooting? Not in the US,
Really?
shooting
Really?
in London. And every time I look at the production weekly that's being sent to me, I'm seeing more and more that's not shooting here. And if it's not shooting here, it's not doing anything here. It's all going international.
Wow.
Contract negotiations start in May.
So
Wow.
London is still so expensive. Why,
But the unions are breakable.
interesting. Yeah, it's, I mean,
Yep.
rent is expensive, real estate, renting, anything. Wow, okay.
There are strange times. Feel like
Still,
everything's
Believe
changing
it or
so
not,
fast.
still cheaper than shooting in New York. With the Teamsters, and you gotta have 20 drivers standing around doing nothing, and I drove in this morning, but you gotta pay me for 14 hours, 15 hours,
So is
even
the
though I
union-
never did anything between those 2 hours, between the 2 hours in the morning and the 2 hours at the end.
So the union is kind of like
They've,
mucked everything up.
the business model is broken. It's majorly broken. If you got a TV show called The Studio that shoots in Los Angeles because it's a studio getting $30 million in tax rebates for shooting in Los Angeles, because where the hell else were they gonna shoot? The system is broken. How is that encouraging people to shoot in LA, something that's already going to shoot there? And coming up to these negotiations, what's on the table to negotiate from labor side? Nobody is working. Give us more money.
At a job you don't have. Interesting.
So they painted themselves into this corner that they can't get out of and don't know how to get out of. And the studios have figured that out. And
Hi.
Historic Review Board.
They're upstairs in the council chamber.
And nobody on their side knows how to get out of it, and studios are taking advantage of it, because that's what they do, because they're trying to.
You really need unions?
What's that?
Do you really need a union? I mean, if you have a good management.
Well, let's remember what happened last time. We didn't have unions, you know, you worked for 18 hours a day and got paid for 10, you know? So there are things that our unions are good for. But what the unions have turned into in Los Angeles is, as long as we get paid, we don't care.
About the people.
Yeah. And so it's all become about money. And the more these people get paid, the more we get paid, because it's a percentage of this and that. And
There's also weird gaps in union coverage, right? Like folks that are doing visual effects, like if you're doing traditional prosthetics, like you're covered by a union, or you should be. But if you're doing, like AI, 3D, whatever, computer generated, they're not unionized
Yeah.
in the same way, and so they just get taken advantage of.
My editors are union, my assistant
Yeah.
editors are union. I'm not union.
Yeah,
I don't have a union that covers me.
yeah.
So I have to make my own deals each time, and there's no requirement for them to pay me anything.
Because I mean, if that was a company, people just wouldn't work for that company. They would find a different company to work for. Maybe there needs to be another company. I don't know.
Well, let's look at the 5 companies that still exist. You've got Paramount, you've got Netflix, you've got NBC Universal, you've got Disney, Fox, whatever, and Sony.
That's all there is left.
You know,
They're all consolidated, you
Yeah.
know? Those guys own literally everything.
Yeah,
5 companies.
so the movie I just went and worked on, yeah, I went and worked, and there was a union, and I got paid the amount of money they had in the budget. So I worked, it was a year ago, probably right about now, that I finished shooting the movie. So that means I started at the beginning of October. I had actually been talking and working with the director since at least January. So let's just say January of last year through now, I got paid 15 grand. And I was on set the whole time in October and then dealing with everything else. So it doesn't even come to minimum wage. If you add up all of the hours and that sort of thing. So
oh,
if I don't do that, there's 10 other people behind me who will.
Hi.
Hi.
okay, your shirt match.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Sorry, I thought I was gonna make it up there, but I didn't actually make it up there.
No worries. Thanks for joining us virtually.
I know booking on my notes.
I forgot it all.
it's fine.
It is that time.
It is. We want to start, I mean, we have a quorum, so we can start, so
Sounds good.
I can, call us to order at, 6 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. Go ahead and take roll. Roll call.
Danielle Choi, staff liaison.
Vicki Olsen, member.
Oliver Scheinman.
Vote, Chair,
Kent Wyatt, member.
and Shannon is here. She's Dr. Carla will introduce her when she gets here.
Phone counselor. She's a-
Hello.
Mary Baumgartner, City Council.
I will remember to, look up there every now and then, I promise.
No worries.
And,
Oh, Shannon Knight, Vice Chair.
welcome, everybody. Charlie let us know that she's, dealing with her child, so she's unavailable to make it, and that's all 6 of us. So, as we discussed with, Aaron last week, we should probably approve the agenda and then go into what we're gonna do, but we are down a number. So. Brings us to item number 2, approval of the agenda.
The agenda or the?
Minutes.
Well, am I looking, well, on our,
He always wants to approve the agenda.
Oh,
We usually
Yeah.
both. Yeah.
we don't have a review of the minutes on our agenda, but we will add one.
I approve the agenda.
You could move to approve
I move to approve the
it.
agenda.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
All opposed? All right, unanimous. I'm gonna add, I guess we should go back to the agenda and strike all of that because we have to add the approval of the minutes.
Yes.
And so I'm going to,
move to amend the agenda first.
We have the
Like
minutes.
oh God, Robert and his rules. I would like to add an item between 2 and 3. Can we call it 2A, or do we have to call it and then just bump all the other numbers down? Approval of the minutes?
Do you have the notes? I didn't read them.
I read them.
Did you, they look okay?
It looks lovely.
I have a question on the table. Does this become 2A, or does it become 3 and we move everything else down?
It's totally up to you.
That's never a good idea. But with that being,
It's clear, now it's changing.
with that being said, we will put that as 2A approval of the minutes, and then I will, entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Motion to approve the amended agenda.
Thank you very much. And a second.
Second.
How dare you switch positions? All in favor? Aye, all opposed? Okay, we are still at unanimous. So 2A, approval of the minutes. I have one copy I can, share if you would like. If anyone needs to look at them,
Do I need to? You can vote without.
I would. One's from the special meeting and one's from the, you saw them, that's when you did, Jen?
That sounds
Okay.
good.
And one is from the, special Bo Rams meeting. Oh, so did you see this one?
Oh, right, too. I thought we already had done this.
What time?
We've done those minutes.
We did not because I was lax. 2 weeks is what it said, you know. It
And then
was-
we had the extra meeting, you know?
So, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of both meetings.
Motion to approve the minutes. For both meetings.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Okay, so that brings us to 3, our public comments. We love that. So that brings us to item number 4, continued discussion of, the things we didn't get to talk about last month because I did not, post them as part of the agenda. So these are all basically the same paperwork we looked at last week, but we weren't legally allowed to because they had not been posted. So it's a lot of the, things that Shannon had sent and, part about the neighborhood association and the plan moving forward. So let's discuss.
Oh, I have a question. So the work plan, so just for clarification, because there was a lot of stuff to look at. So I look at the memo. So is this is what because this was the recommendation. So this is,
That is what we are tasked with by council.
so this is kind of like our
Our
structure,
Mhm.
foundation. Okay,
Correct,
got it.
correct.
Okay, and then these are supplemental.
These are what we're working on for the project for outreach to the neighborhood.
Okay.
Exactly. So we've got our foundation. We know what we're tasked with doing. What Shannon did was, if you want to explain how you ran it through, an AI and they spit out some, ways that we could move forward. And so now we're just gonna review those and see what we can do, because there are a lot of things on here that we are not legally allowed to do. And what we can do. And move forward with our plan so that we're ready to talk to the neighborhood associations in February.
Got it.
Does that make sense in summing up properly? Okay. That's like talking circles stuff.
Which of the attachments are we looking at?
I've got all of them printed out because I wanted to look at them all as a,
Okay.
you know, but I think it's mainly gonna be the outreach method one. And then this one, Shannon?
Is that the integrated action plan?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I guess at some point the board duties as well. But you may have included these and these just as a argument against why we would switch from what we're doing to, I don't know.
Shannon, which one is yours? Over here, and then Westland Connected, Connect.
So yeah, this was just what AI spit out as a how to launch this whole campaign kind of a thing, like a, you know, what to do every month. You know, obviously, like that there was things that we can't do, but it was just.
Sorry, are you on the integrated action plan or
No,
the?
this was the Westland Connected that we talked about last time,
Okay.
Which one is?
but the integrated action plan is
Ah,
probably a.
this one.
Yeah. So this, I mean, depends on what you want to work on. So do we want to work on that, setting the calendar for, you know, how the outreach is done, or do you want to work?
Well, I think we've kind of set the calendar in that, you know, we're working on our questions next meeting. And then, you know, December's kind of. They're in the minutes. After they put the minutes. Yeah, so this. So, October meeting was so that we could include all of the documents in the agenda and look those over, which is what these are, and officially go over them. And then, November is to have our 3 to 5 survey questions for us to discuss, so that we can come up with the 5 questions we want to include in our survey. And then January meeting is to focus on messaging. So that we can have a meeting in February with the neighborhood association presidents that want to meet with us. To present that to them.
Okay, repeat those 3 items. Or,
And just to clarify for sure, is there going to be a meeting in November?
is it right on Thanksgiving?
It's the Tuesday before. I would really hate to lose that and Christmas.
You have to choose
Yeah,
one's worse.
We could also change the meeting. Right, call a special meeting instead.
and we could do that as well. I mean, I wouldn't mind, gonna be in LA, hopefully. But yes, that's something that we should discuss, because I would be open to moving that if it's not that 25th. Oh.
We don't have a December. We go from November, then we go to January. Yeah.
Because I left December off, because the December meeting would be the 23rd. Yeah,
What if we moved it to the 2nd and then it kind of covered both November and December?
like December 2nd.
Yeah, like the
Right.
following.
That's the first Monday, so that's a day session. Oh, I might have UAB that day.
Tuesday.
Yeah. That would be my only conflict.
I like that idea though.
Yeah.
Find it out.
Yeah, it would conflict with UAB, which meets in this room as well. So, I mean, we want to go meeting with them and cover my bases. That would be my only concern. But I would make this a priority because we wouldn't have, it's our. So, do we want to entertain a motion to, move the November meeting to December 2nd?
To make sure there's a room available, like, is it-
That shouldn't be a problem. I don't think I can like check immediately because we usually have it reserved on like the specific Tuesday ahead of time. But if they're like, we would just arrange something like what we did
We could-
today,
or
or
we could go
HRP
into
goes
11,
upstairs,
Or
or
we
yeah.
can go into 11,
Yeah, we would be able to make it work.
because, yeah, we can sit in 11.
Yeah.
It's just around the corner.
It's a little warm in there.
It's December and we need one.
That's true.
I need a motion.
I moved to move our November meeting to December 2nd. For both December and November. We're probably gonna have to do our
Report as
council
well.
report in that meeting.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Hold on, I'm just making notes. To December 2nd, 6 o'clock, location TBD. Okay, I have a motion and I believe I heard a second, so I will, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Unanimous, so we will note that down in our staff update, about our next meeting, which works perfectly for me as well. I should be back from so that, is when we will deal with questions. And we will deal with our yearly report to council. How did we feel about other things that we can? Oh, why I don't have that one.
It's on
That's the one I sent originally, I'm pulling up
the screen.
chat so that I can.
I guess we're going through my file and cleaning up.
I feel like we might have been like sort of scratched some.
Yeah, we did.
We did, but we weren't officially allowed to because we hadn't posted them onto the agenda, is my understanding. So we kind of have to legally go through it again.
Yeah, some of these we can't.
Exactly, and we couldn't really go through and discuss all of that because we weren't technically allowed to be looking at it. Yeah, raw. So we're not allowed to make a logo or a word mark, but we can have a slogan. And I believe we agreed that we liked Westland Connected as our slogan. We did not vote on that because again, we weren't allowed to. I see you licking your lips in question. Are we not allowed to come up with a slogan either?
No, it's just that we do already have an app called Westland Connect, which is obviously very linguistically closed and maybe, confusing. That is the app where you can report, potholes and issues.
Yeah.
I mean, I would recommend, differentiating somehow, but is this for external use or internal use or?
It's just what we're gonna call the project and, all of our materials will.
I kind of see it as like an ad hoc, what we're trying to accomplish, and so our ad hoc, what we're trying to accomplish would be Westland Connected, but not.
I'll ask Chat to give me an idea.
Well, if it's really just, you know, for the team to kind of talk about your campaign, there's really no harm in naming it you know, unless you're publicizing it and, you know, putting it everywhere. I don't think that would confuse
Sorry,
anyone.
Exactly. Now, I mean, I don't see, I wouldn't be opposed to, you know, part of this being if somebody wants to join a neighborhood association, they go to the app and there's a little button that says neighborhood association. They put in their, I guess, address, because we all got the same zip code.
But you want to hear chat's other options?
And wait a second, and it tells them when the next meeting is. You know what I mean? Because they're all scheduled. And that way we have a place to send them. I don't want to, because I know how hard it is to change an app. Well, I don't, I just hear that it's not easy.
No, it's actually not that hard on ours. I just want to make sure, no, we don't have, so this is what our app page looks like right now. It's gonna be tiny, sorry. But there is no, like, it would be easy enough for me to add like.
To add another heading that says neighborhood.
Yeah, and on that page, you know, like, we can't do anything special, but it
Send
would
them-
still have
send
the
them
map,
to the webpage.
you know, so they could look up their neighbor. and-
Exactly, and then anybody who asks us, well, go to the app. You know, which we really want to do anyway, you know, and take advantage of that, so. Let's check that off our list of things to do. I mean, I love when that happens. And that way we can work together with the app and Westland Connected. What did ChatGPT think that we should use?
Neighbor to neighbor, Westland. Engage Westland. Your voice Westland. Speak up Westland. Love Westland.
Coming soon on the cable channel near you. I'd write that down as a sitcom idea.
Here, Westland.
For the British version.
No, I think if it's internal, I mean, unless you're gonna do a presentation under it.
Only to the neighborhood association.
Neighborhood association.
They'll know that that won't be.
Yeah, and I think that if we present to the neighborhood associations, you know, just go to the app and look, it takes them right to there. That's,
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's good.
all right, item number 2.
The tagline or whatever it came up with, I think we said we'd like to get informed, get involved, get connected.
Oh, that was, yeah.
Which I like as a, you know, for your app as well, because that's where you go to do all of that, you know? And when people have things, I've started doing it on Facebook. I had a problem. I couldn't get anyone to answer. I was like, have you tried the app? Oh my God, it worked. You know, so
What is the app called?
Westland Connect.
Westland Connect.
If you just search for Westland in your app store, it will be the first one. Not too many other Westlands out there competing with us.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the list up there again.
So we can, like, for that third bullet point under 1, we can create content ideas for social media. Right?
Oh, for Danielle.
Yeah.
This whole part is super tricky. I checked with my supervisor and my understanding of it is that, for like non-insignificant amounts of staff time, you know, requests for that, it would need to go not to the city manager, but to council, who would then talk to the
Yeah,
city
That's
manager,
what we talked
and
about.
then the
last
city
week.
manager.
So this whole plan, we will present to council
Okay,
to get council's approval to move forward the plan. And so we're sending council's approval moving forward with the plan allows the staff time to be used.
I mean, they would have to, they can't direct staff either, right? So they'll have to ask the city manager and then that's where the final decision will be made. Does that make sense? Bureaucracy.
Yep,
Yeah,
it has to go up before it can go down.
Yes, make sure we have the budget.
Is there a budget that you guys were, like, that would be a council question.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have bureaucracy, is to make sure that there's a budget. I mean, that there's money for you to do this.
It's more like about using, you know, because I cost money, just my time, right? So it's about wise stewardship of, you know, that taxpayer resource, but, we do have a comms budget. That's not something that CAGs have ever touched.
no, we don't,
I don't
we
think
talked about that.
Yeah,
at the
okay,
beginning,
okay. My understanding is if you
It
guys
would
want
be
your own budget, you have to approach council
Yeah,
for
it
that
would
and,
be,
you know, get approval on a project basis.
it might just be some minor, like, things.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Like if we have a survey, we have a booth at the farmer's market, we need some,
And-
to
and
print
I-
out, print out little things for us people to write the survey.
And I thought that we had always discussed that if we did do anything like that, that we would go to the neighborhood association first.
Yeah.
And ask them for $10-15 each, you know, to print up a map to use at the booth.
Yeah.
Or to print up questionnaires. You know, as part of our presentation in February, you know, I think that was part, because I didn't think we wanted to go to council for any of that because they don't have the money to give us.
If it's very, I mean, I believe they can, but if it's such a small amount, like that makes sense to me too. You know, like $10, we'll get you a lot of papers.
If Historic Willamette can come to the neighborhood association for money for candy, we can go for maps and questionnaires. So, and I think that part of any of that sort of thing would come after February, after we've sat with the NAs and chatted with them. To see exactly how involved they want to be and what they want to give and that sort of thing. You know, so we're just kind of putting together what we're going to present to them in February for now. And then I think we planned on taking what we gleaned from February and having something ready to present to council and by April. So that we could proceed by May with the beginning of March. I think with the roadmap that we had planned out, just so you're aware, and that's another reason why we're going over all of this, because Danielle's our point person. Having Erin have all of this knowledge does us no good. And so by doing all of this, she's now in the loop as well. So sorry that it's being repeated, but it's being repeated for a good cause as well, so. Besides my ineptitude with Robert and his rules. Yeah. Which kind of takes us through month one, foundation and messaging, which we kind of discussed and agreed to and come up with. And that we're not going to create any templates just now because that would involve too much up and down. And we can't assign any roles because, and so that takes us to month two.
Again, this would be our ask of, can we have, you know. part of this
Exactly.
Feature in the newsletter about neighborhood association.
And I guess these would be things that we would present to the neighborhood associations and asking them whether these are things they think. These are the things that we are looking to do or ask council to be able to do. What are your thoughts on this? So that can be moved over to that list of things we discussed in February. These like a 2 weeks social media, did you know you're already a part of a neighborhood association kind of thing?
Is there, to that bullet point on that last bullet point there, is there some kind of map or way someone figures out what already on the website?
Yes, yes, we have one on our neighborhood association page. Let me,
I know there's a map because I printed it like
too
5
many tabs, yeah.
and yet I still don't have one with me.
Oh, too many devices, guys. No wonder that's not working.
You can see my desk.
Now, you know that our GIS was having problems accessing
They're-
maps? It was
They're
found
building new,
recently.
really high res maps.
Yeah,
I know that for
okay.
a fact because I've been talking to Lee.
So the Find Your NA section is the one, we have a whole maps page that covers all kinds of stuff, related to that our neighborhood associations might be
And that's the one I-
useful, for, but there's also, I think for the layperson, use your address to figure out your NA is probably the best one, and we do have a, let's hope it's working, because I know this was having trouble. Yep, there you go.
Okay, I would say
Write a
like,
disclaimer.
yeah, our materials, we should link directly to that because
Yeah,
that page is so text heavy, like no one's going to read that, I'm sure.
So there is a way to put your address in here?
yeah. I'm not the best at using this, but I know it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they give you the tips here, and this is where I usually mess up. Because you do have, it's a little picky about, how you
And
do
then you just
things,
go up
yeah.
to and click, I want to.
Yeah,
You see there where it says, right there, right there on the map where it says, I want to.
Oh, yeah.
here.
And that's where it gets complicated. because-
And I was gonna say, this is not, this is
Layer.
not easy.
Yeah.
It's not an easy
Let me
way
see.
to find your neighborhood association.
But there's nowhere to put your address. I don't see.
I believe it's here. Let's try it with City Hall.
Oh, how would people know to put it?
I mean, that's the only search
Yeah.
feature on it. So hopefully this is how that works. No.
But what about the navigate?
Yeah.
On
The
the
top.
top. Next to.
Ah. Well, we can change it to Street View.
This is not a good thing to send anyone to.
It's pretty complicated.
Need to
I
find,
think just the map itself wasn't terrible.
If we could send them to you mean like the
Yeah,
static
yeah, go
PDF
up to
of
that
that?
top, go all the way up to the top on that page and you'll see that color, what's about the different colors. That's the one that I printed out.
Yeah, it's small, they'll have to zoom in, but
Yeah.
like on a mobile phone, pinch to zoom shouldn't be.
It gives you close enough.
or if there's just somewhere you get where it says, find your neighborhood association and type in your address and.
That's what the map was supposed to be.
That's what we're saying, that's what it's supposed to be, and it's
There's a
not,
learning curve to
there's not an
it.
easy bit on that map.
About solutions, what do we do?
I think this is why we're here, we're here.
Get a new map. I'm not saying that,
Oh,
I'm
wait.
kidding, I'm kidding.
For people.
Because I like the map.
But I do know that they are working on new maps. I just, that's because I've been chatting with Lee because I'm
Oh, okay.
doing a project as
Yeah.
well, that I need the maps and I couldn't get what I wanted. And so I don't know how to answer that.
I think people know pretty much like what main streets are around them, so if they see this map, it gives you kind of the main streets that people could give like, oh, I think I'm like right about here.
We've got some useful landmarks on here, like,
Yeah.
the schools close to you, if you can find a park that you recognize that's near your house.
This isn't a terrible option. It's way easier than the GIS map.
Sure.
Exactly, and this gives you a general, and you know, if you're in, you know. I'm really bad at east and west, but looking at a map and being here in LA, I can do it off the top of my head, but if you're on the other side of Chandler, and you go to Savannah Oaks, they're gonna tell you you're at the wrong meeting. So just the border people who,
Oh, no. Okay. So do we want to look into an option to see if they can put their address in, or is that gonna, would that be too hard?
I mean, that is what I've
What that
seen,
map-
I've seen GIS do it, like, I know it's possible,
Yeah.
but for a lay person.
We would have to have an
it's
instruction
really
list,
hard.
I think.
Yeah.
So, how do we find out where it is?
That would be maybe a GIS request. They're the keepers of our maps, but
What do we need to, what do you think?
that would be something where I would bring my camera, and if the GIS guy needed to click through and show you how to do it, I would film him doing that, so you can have an instructional video to do it. That's, you know, because some things you just need to show people, you know.
I think it's a little complicated. I mean, I
Yeah.
have actually done this before, like more than once, and I can't even remember. Which, you know, like, yeah, I'm not sure how useful that would be for folks then.
Old school map is good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sometimes technology is too complicated for
So-
everybody.
So do we-
how hard would it be if you clicked on like Robin Wood? Is that right? And it took you to their page, you know, like you've got the map there, the color map, and it's got all of the little sections there.
Hold on, do you mean like their
On the
page?
website.
I
I think that would be complicated,
Where's the neighborhood page?
because that,
That one there, like say I clicked on
Oh,
Hidden Springs.
This is just a PDF, so
Yeah.
it's not interactive. We do have that layered function though on the GIS tool. It isn't really like powerful, cool tool. It's just, you know, that learning curve is a cliff. You know, and you can like overlay, you know, like show just this neighborhood association and the boundaries and change your topographical settings and, you know, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. It's just not easy. Yeah, none of it's easy.
I mean, I think we just asked GIS and see, I mean, possible if not, we can come back to that. I do think there's a way to do it. My phone's also slow on trying to pull it up. right now.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and that's all areas let's know a whole lot about. Just trying to make it easy for people, because if it's
maybe
more than
we
3
need a-
steps, it's cooking.
That is the rule, 3 clicks, really, no,
Yeah, yeah.
really.
So, so can we go back to the month by month page? Yeah, which I guess is a bullet point.
I think everything else is,
All has to do with after we meet with DNAs.
yeah.
And see what they're up to. I think, you know, just realistically, we could mark off movies in the park because, yeah, it's in there, but you don't have anybody going up to booths in the middle of a movie. You know, as opposed to music where you're often moving around. Unless we wanted to do it before.
What about having a float in the parade?
I would love that. I would offer up my pickup truck, which has an electrical plug in the back for the Christmas parade for that. I would,
Because I was thinking that because we have the Christmas parade coming up, I'm like, we could get early jump on it by like
yeah,
advertising,
I-
putting up signs on the side of something that says, did you know your neighborhood association is not an HOA?
did you know you're in a neighborhood association and a neighborhood association? You know, just simple things like that. You know, hey, it works for the Scientologists, you ask these random
Work for
questions,
the-
and you're like, oh, hey, and
Fine.
next thing you know, you're in a cult. This isn't like that, but you know, no offense to anybody who's in a cult, but it's true.
We could just have a QR code on the poster on the side and maybe,
That takes you to the neighborhood association, you know?
but I don't think we'll have that in time for the Christmas parade, but maybe for Old Time Fair Parade.
Yeah. I would be open to that, but I'm not sure that we'll be able to get to the NAs before that to discuss that with them. Or are you just talking about us getting on and doing it?
No, I said for the Old Time Fair Parade, that's July.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's a great idea. And you do have a lot of people who are out there with their kids who aren't the normal people who go to meetings and know about the city. And after going to a number of these meetings over the last couple of weeks, there are a lot of people in the town who do not know they don't know how easy it is to go to council and say something. And that they have that right and privilege to do that at every single meeting. And they just don't know that. So I think those things, sorry, people are gonna hate me. But again, I'm a strong believer in the more people who participate, the better government we have.
Like when Gary usually comes here, he's like, no one comes to planning commission meetings.
And I tell them, oh, I'm there, you just don't know it because I'm watching from home.
It's like, we welcome all the people coming to.
Exactly. So I think, yes, I would like to put that on our list. We can lose movies and add parade.
When I was doing the research for changing the bylaws at CCI, the Oregon City CCI meets on the dais and people can come in and give testimony. They go to council for their CCI. It's pretty formal.
I'm not opposed to looking down on people. I kid. So, where are we? We've got we've gone through this, which I think is the main paper we wanted to go through, correct, Shannon? And we've got kind of a game plan going forward really now. That kind of takes us through May. April.
So hopefully May is when we can start with like farmers markets and stuff like that. So May, put into action that stuff. Right?
Exactly, so,
So everything on here we're taking in or,
well, we whittled it down.
It's like an outline, basically.
Exactly, and then we whittled this one down. Which one are you looking at?
well, like one for storytelling, recruitment, did we go down there?
Yeah, I think this is more like once we get permission and everything like that, that's where the rest of the stuff. would be.
Okay, so we draw a line.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't want to build any messaging in that without the involvement of the NA. And so right now, our,
Council of this whole thing,
say that again?
and approval by council of the.
Exactly, but if we don't have the approval of the NAs, what are we doing? And so that's what we're focusing on now, is what we're gonna present to them. So, and some, that's that we want their involvement, and we want to help them recruit for their neighborhood associations, and these are the ways that we want to do it. You know, with focusing on sending them to the website, to the app, and, you know, having this booth at the farmer's market, and having a booth at the music, and having a booth at the fair, and having a float at the parade.
I just thought of this. So, you know, like business cards, they're just small little business cards with, you know, CCI and then that little URL code and some information. I mean, those are very expensive. Just like all of us would have some, we just have to start handing them out.
And put a QR code on there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be a good outreach.
and, well, I would, and in that, we just have to agree to what we want to have put on there. And again, I don't want to, because I would send them to the NA. You know, that would be join your neighborhood association. Or did you know you were in a neighborhood association? There are those things on those little cards with the QR code that we can give them, and it takes them right to there or right to the app.
We have ones for the app already, actually.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically we just get pieces of paper and decide what we wanted to say and stick that on there, and it's not done.
We might have some examples.
And once she gets that little tab for the neighborhood association on there, it's even better, because then they go there and, oh yeah, there's a tab right there.
Out downstairs, but we've got them upstairs, you know.
But then again, that was something that we had discussed, you know, at a meeting or two ago as well, is, you know, incorporating using QR code. Using QR, whatever, more to draw people in, because that's just an easy, you know. So. Where are we? Ooh. Seems to be moving along. So, I will sum all this up in the minutes in the next week or two, just so that it's all fresh in everybody's brain going into an early meeting. Actually, it'll be a late meeting, but at least it'll all be fresh in our brain. And everybody knows that our homework for our December meeting is to come up with 3 to 5 questions that we should include in our survey, knowing that we're gonna have, you know, hopefully 6 times 5 is 30, and we're gonna whittle down to the 5 best.
And what are these questions are going to?
The survey, these are our survey questions for, what do you know about the neighborhood association?
So we're targeting citizens.
So, yeah, so like if we had a booth, they would be able to make
Quickly,
comments
answer 5 questions on a piece of paper.
and then, yeah, put them in a box and then we'll
Yeah.
have data to give at the end of this, how,
At the end of the summer, we can add all those, you know, people running tab on an Excel spreadsheet.
which we should put on this monthly sustain and measure. Should be, well, it does say track metrics, but like report from survey.
Which would be what, like September?
Probably.
And then do like a debriefing with DNAs in like October and then like October. You know, have another meeting where the DNA president, the one who can come, and we can just say, have you seen an increase? Has this been helping? You know, what can we do better? What can we tweak? That sort of thing. Sound good? Any questions? All right, so do we want to close out discussion on that and move to? Well, I guess we moved to review and amend documents without knowing it.
Oh, we did.
So I guess that takes us to our staff update.
Yeah, just regarding the extra member, just wanted to let you guys know that the applications are going out. And no, I'm not promoting them until November, so they must be going out. That's the point. So yeah, that's all I have though.
And with that being said, my term is up at the end of the year. I'm still waffling as to what my plans are. I would be more inclined to come back if I wasn't the chair. Actually, if I didn't have to do the minutes, because I hate minutes more than I realized I would hate them. But just keep that on your mind as well. I really don't want to leave the work that started and not see it through. So I would entertain staying on, but not as the chair. So just putting that out there. And with that being said, I know it's a 2-year term, but I would probably only stay for a year. Not that I don't love you all. And so we've decided on December 2nd at 6 o'clock. Location TBD.
Most likely here. I'll kick out whoever needs to be kicked
It'll
out.
just it'll just be the UAB and I'll vote on this side to kick them out. Well, then, I guess with that
Speaking
being,
of which, though, do we want to, when we're putting us all together, because this was supposed to be both neighborhood association and getting people involved in CAGs, do we want to meet with the CAGs in any way throughout this project too?
Before, or, I mean, where on this
Yeah, to
timeline?
see their opinions on recruitment for like, do they have problems getting people like we do and what they think would help sell involvement?
I guess my question would be, who in here is on another committee?
On BBC.
I might have some input on that question.
Okay,
Having served on several myself, and I can tell you that generally speaking, we're not having trouble having people step up. So, but I think it's a good idea to get the word out there. I don't know if talking to the CAGs about it would be helpful, though.
Because they don't really have a whole lot to do with recruiting and
No,
No.
right, exactly.
people.
I mean,
So-
there's sometimes people who say, like I've told people when I was on one of the CAGs, I told a friend that she might like it and she did apply. So, you know, that kind of word of mouth can happen, but for the most part, it isn't up to the members. And they don't really have a way to influence recruitment.
But I think I see where Shannon's going, because our motto was involve, recruit, convert. That's not what it was. Too much South Park, leave me alone. But that includes not only sending people who are interested in getting involved to NAs, but sending them to, you know, an advisory group. And
Oh, sure.
And that would be just sending them to the website again as well, but instead of sending to the AEs, it might be, we have a separate card for an advisory group.
I think there's a page for all the advisory groups and it lists what
Yeah,
positions are open or whatever, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
So I was thinking more along the lines on like, why did you join? What made you join? What messaging, you know, would you think would get others to want to join? Kind of thing. Just because it always helps to have information.
I love that idea. I think we've got our hands full with the neighborhood associations right now. And if the CAGs are doing well with their recruiting process, why, rock the boat? And we are going to need to be in touch with them, because like I say, I know that that the UAB is going to be talking about rate increases and rate restructurings and et cetera, et cetera. And I know that there are others that have things that are gonna need help with messaging. And so, it would be nice to be in touch with them
That's true.
about those things.
I mean, they could come into our booth and talk to people about.
But that, I mean, that takes me back to, and I don't know how to move this further than keep repeating it and hope that somebody hears it. But like I said, if we have a neighborhood association president's meeting, why not a council advisory group chair meeting every 2 or 3, 4 months? Again, so that we can talk amongst each other to see how we can help each other. Because none of us work in a vacuum or a bubble. And so if we can work together, it just makes everything better.
I think, yeah, I would think like at least maybe once a year.
Exactly, just so we can say, this is what we're
The
looking
work
at this
plans
year,
are
this is
yearly,
what
right?
we're,
Yeah.
you know, this is what we're doing, you know. So that we're all on the same page.
I will
I-
say that some of this is work for the comms staff. I mean, Danielle, if you know, correct me if, you know, I don't want to be taking on things or that isn't quite the role of the CAGs. What is your opinion, Danielle?
It really depends. I know, if we're using like substantial amounts of staff time that needs to go through a certain approval process. So it depends on, but if you guys are farmers market, boothing, that's really not so related to, what I'm working on. So does that make sense to you, Mary?
Yes, like I was thinking about these additional meetings, for instance, that are potentially, there needs to be a staff person at them all.
Oh, you mean for the CAGs? Yeah, there's, I mean,
Right.
so the way the neighborhood association presidents came about was that was just self-organized by the NAs, right? And I don't know that there's been a similar effort, from the CAGs, or how they're much more managed by the city directly than the neighborhood associations are. So
Right.
I'm not even sure what the process would be to.
Which is why I haven't taken it any further than mentioning it every chance that I get, because I don't want to step on somebody's toes and do something wrong.
I
Well,
don't think
that's
it's
why I said
stepping on
maybe once
toes.
a year.
It's
Yeah.
not stepping on toes or doing things wrong. We're just kind of, this is all about brainstorming, right? The best way forward. And then when something is being suggested that has an element that maybe is unanticipated, like there needs to be staff, if you're adding citizen advisory group chairs having to meeting regularly, or putting their heads together about an additional, then it's another staff responsibility. That's all I was saying, to just keep in mind.
I get it. I get it. And again, I think it's a great idea. So I keep bringing it up. And if it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere. Life goes on. I'm not gonna.
That might be a city reporter question.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's usually, I'm not that involved with the management of the CAGs, I just liaise with mine.
Is there a way that the chairs of the CAGs could communicate, or is there like an email or some type of post, or
So
how did
we just have to be careful about serial communications, is this a public meeting? Like if all the chairs of the CAGs are talking, does that make them a new CAG? In the eyes of the law, like would council need to approve that? Like I would have a lot of questions about that process myself.
It's like when she sends out an email asking when we're meeting, you never see me reply. And yet I reply to every single one of her emails because legally I'm not supposed to CC everybody.
Right.
It goes against my nature to do that, but I do it because that's what the ethics people have told me to do. And so I'm very careful about things like that.
We don't want to have an accidental public meeting over email that the public doesn't know about. You know what I mean? That's the concern with like emailing. That's all.
And just, so you know, those are the toes I'm concerned about stepping on, is the laws, and that there are laws that dictate what can and can't be done. And
So I think the answer to the question is that isn't the right way to communicate with the chairs of all the citizen advisory groups, is by email. But we can discuss the potential, feasibility of doing some kind of gathering of
Well, and
CAGs.
Yeah, or maybe it's something even as simple as like a CAG appreciation party where everyone from the
that was
CAGs.
promised to us.
Then we can just kind of talk amongst each other.
That was promised to us, that it can happen in September.
Actually, well, yeah, that there can be some, if there's substantive information discussed, then there needs to be an
Yeah.
agenda and open to the public, because we can't just have a volunteer gathering and then plan on talking about substantive things there because everybody is there, which does seem convenient, but unfortunately doesn't serve the requirements of public meetings law.
Now you know why I stuck with independent films as opposed to studio films, because I don't need to go through 18 meetings to find out how to spell the. But I get it. I understand. I'm mocking the system, but I respect the system.
Well, what happened to the one sheet for council about what happens at each meeting?
Yeah, that was-
I
My
don't
other
know that-
idea was
I
that
don't, I don't think all the CAGs have adopted that.
because like that would be the easiest thing is like if all of the CAGs saw that one sheet, they would know what each other was working on.
Well, it's
Well,
for it's when a council member is not there to inform, the council liaison for that specific group, was my understanding of the document.
Well,
Yes.
it was even if they were there, so they didn't have to remember what
It was-
happened.
It was a document that was gonna be
Yeah.
done at every meeting.
Not every meeting, only when the council liaison is absent.
No, I think it was
was my
supposed to be every meeting because,
That's just not what I was told though.
okay, well, I believe that was Mary's original intent because she would have to remember she had trouble remembering what was at every meeting.
Well,
she attended.
It actually, it wasn't trouble remembering. It was because there was a lack of standardization and there were expectations from one CAG wanted everything read throughout their whole meeting. That basically verbatim meeting was the expectation, which is too much information probably for the encapsulation that is really necessary for a meeting to, to not be too long of a council report. So it was more like it's for standardization and for standard expectations of all of the CAGs.
Yeah, but the intent was not just if you weren't there, right?
Correct. Originally, that was what was discussed, but I don't think that it's been implemented. So, and I don't really understand. Okay, I think we've got maybe off a little off topic because this was about how to communicate with the CAGs, right?
Yeah, so I'm just
Okay.
thinking if we had access to those reports, then all the CAGs would know what other CAGs are working on in an easy to read report.
Well, I mean, their CAG minutes are posted for all the CAGs that anybody else could read them. So I think that exists. I mean, it's online.
I know, I was just
Already.
thinking an abbreviated. Instead of having
Well,
to read through all the minutes.
I mean, yes, but anyway, so for the purpose of what then?
Just so everyone has an understanding of what other CAGs are working on to see if there would be cross ways to work together on it.
Right. I'm not sure how, I mean, and if there is something that's missing from communication, maybe council needs to talk about that and discuss how to improve that connection. Is what
I mean,
I'm
this
hearing.
came up for me personally. Well, I started thinking about this because of the whole sustainability with the gas leaf blowers and me being on economic development and knowing how that policy would affect small business owners. And so then I was like, does the sustainability know, like economic development should talk to sustainability about how it impacts small business owners since they're making this policy.
Well, I mean, really the hub of decision-making for policy anyway is council. So as much as I hear what you're saying, and it's a temptation maybe to make sure that sustainability knows the impacts their policy that they're suggesting would cause. I don't know how important that is because as long as council hears from the proper, the other side of that argument, for instance, that you're suggesting that this would impact small businesses, then all of the different information is coming together to council.
Yeah,
So-
but that's what I'm saying is that economic development wouldn't even know that council would be seeing that really.
But council sees all of the different, that's why we have liaisons that report back. So for instance, the council liaison for economic development would say, yes, I heard sustainability wants to take, transition away all leaf blowers or ban gas powered leaf blowers. And here's why economic says that's not a good idea. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but I mean, it
why,
wouldn't have been discussed at all. Like, it wouldn't have been discussed in economic development without knowing. Like, I don't know if the council would have brought it up because they probably might not have known that there was an economic development would have a feeling about it. You know what I mean? The only reason I know is because I listen to the meetings. So, but if I didn't listen to the meeting to know that that's what they were working on, there would be no way that anyone in economic development would know that that's something that's going to be going to council.
isn't there a council liaison in the economic development meetings?
Right, but I don't think it would be in their brain to bring it up.
Well, we read the meeting minutes. I think we're getting in the weeds. I'm just going to say, so we don't have to beat this topic to death. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like redirect into a one single point, but I think the point you all are making is good, that we all need to be knowing what each other is doing. That's a good point.
I stand by that as well. Well, if nobody has any objections, are we good to adjourn? At 7:03.
Good night, all. Thank you.
Hope it's not another 11:30 night.
Okay, have a good night.
Good night. 11:30 for you?
It was 18 innings last night.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't care.
But at least, like, I was like, for the fans, I was like, well, at least it's like, like these poor fans that are on the East Coast watching this game.
Exactly. And here's the funny thing is I didn't even turn into the game until sometime during the 8th inning because I don't care except for the end, and then it just will go on. And at that point you can't stop because you could end it any